Hello again, everyone. Amazing, we're already almost halfway done with this course, even though we're just starting to enter the third week. This is only a 5.5 week course, so it's a lot of work in a short amount of time. And you guys are really excelling. You're really meeting my expectations and doing very, very well so far. So I've really enjoyed your research papers. You've come up with some amazing questions for each other in the discussions. Just want to, again, I know I'm a broken record, remind you that you need to respond to 2 colleagues on each assignment. I'm just dreading taking away those points. I hate doing it because my goal is to see you succeed, and especially on the assignments where you're having difficulty, those are easy points to get. All you have to do is click and comment on your peers' work, on your colleagues. So there's plenty to comment on. I'd like to see you be doing that more. This week we're going to be going into the commercial side of photography. I know a lot of you will enjoy this since that's sort of where your career aspirations are. We're going to begin with fashion photography and see some really interesting images. We're looking at Avedon and talking about Edward Steichen, who's one of the real trendsetters in photography, a key historic figure. So that'll be fun to do that. We'll then move on to some of the cultural movements in the 70s and the 80s and discuss how fashion photography may have changed with those, how the photography may have changed culture, culture changed photography. So there'll be plenty to talk about in there. Next, we'll go into the genre of portraiture, and I know a lot of you are really interested in that and showed some of your portraiture work during the autobiography assignment. So I'm interested to see what you all think of the portraiture questions and the things that we cover in that subsection. We'll be talking about advertising photography more broadly, and then we'll get to go into some of the more techie things, some of the scientific breakthroughs in photography, some of the breakthroughs in science that photography aided. So we'll really get a lot of little puzzle pieces to put together there, how these different areas were bouncing off one another. So there'll be plenty to talk about in that section as well. And then we'll get to do a little teeny piece on Polaroid, and that's always fun for students. It's always one of my favorite things to think about. The Polaroid company is really interesting historically, and I hope you enjoy that. So there'll be a lot of reading again this week, so hopefully you're keeping up on all of that reading, because I think it'll really help you in your assignments. The assignments due for this week are the discussion questions. We have those every week. Again, we have 2 discussion questions this week, so you'll get to choose which one speaks to you more, which one gives you more interesting things to discuss, and then you'll have to comment on 2 of your colleagues. That's due by Friday the 15th. The next assignment is about commercial photography, and you'll be posting 2 images. Don't give us any information about those images. Just put up the images, 2 images. Don't tell us where you got them. Don't tell us who the photographer is. Don't tell us what it's advertising. Don't tell us anything. Just put up the images. And then I want you to comment on 2 of your colleagues' posts and answer a couple of questions about what you think that those images might be advertising and a couple of other things. You'll have to do that response post by the 18th. The initial post is by the 16th, Saturday, and then the response post is by Monday the 18th. And then finally, you'll finish up that assignment on Wednesday the 20th with a paper on your initial images. And you'll probably want to reference some of the things that came up as you were commenting on each other's images as well. The next assignment, assignment 3, is about scientific imagery, and you'll get to really delve into more in depth one scientific process that has used photographic imagery or photographic methods, and that'll be due on Monday the 18th. Our final project paper, again, is due on Monday the 18th as well. This is just the 3rd photographer on your list. It's the same thing we've been doing, but make sure that you're answering every question on there. You need to at least provide one influence that your photographer cites. He or she may cite the photographer as an influence, but maybe you can't find that. So you'll just find images that you think sort of predate and may have influenced the kind of imagery that your photographer does. So it doesn't have to be someone that your photographer has specifically stated as an influence. It can be someone that you see as influential in the work of your photographer. And then you also need to talk about how the general genre that you're discussing, the genre of commercial photography, most likely in this, or portraiture, depending on who you selected, how your photographer fits into that genre by talking about the influences around them, by talking about their peers, by talking about other photographers who have been influenced by them. Again, this doesn't need to be explicitly stated. This can be your opinion. If you can find explicitly stated influences, explicitly stated relationships, that's all the better. If you can't find that, don't just ignore it because I have to take away those points. So you make some connections. You can do this. You've learned enough about photographers to this point. You've learned enough in your reading, and you've discussed enough other photographers that you'll be able to come up with somebody that you make a connection to in terms of the two different kinds of the two different images or the genres. So that's our work this week. Keep up the good work. You guys are really getting to the heart of these questions, and I love it. If you have any questions on your photographers, if you find it difficult to work with the photographers you've chosen, please talk to me well before the assignment is due so that we can work out something. So I might be able to give you some tips or some information that could help. So don't wait until it's already done, until the due date has come and gone, and then tell me you couldn't do it. Come to me when you're noticing that you're having a problem, and we can work it out. Most of you don't seem to be having these problems, but if you happen to have a difficult photographer this week or any of the other weeks as we go forward, some of the photographers are much more obscure than others. So there are a couple options we have. So please seek me out, and I will be seeing you all on the classroom. Have a great week.